Pray for the best, but prepare for the worst. Welcome in to the Bro for Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is episode 235, and it is our 2025 movie preview show. I'm your host, the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Before we get into it and kick off the year with some bold and probably wrong predictions, as is tradition, let's go around and meet my fellow bros. We start with our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli. Ronnie, currently in theaters, there is a movie called Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. So I have to ask, is this the story of the divorce settlement that you brokered for my ex-wife Rachel that has me being robbed every month in alimony payments?
I mean, it's hard to be robbed when you don't have anything, that you don't have a net worth. I mean, you don't even have dignity. Like, there's nothing
that's
there.
What I was going to say. You could take my dignity, but that walked out the door a long time ago. So I guess
what about 6-7 years ago when we started doing this pod?
Yeah, just about that.
It's too bad, because if this was the story of my life, I was definitely thinking O'Shea Jackson Jr. would be playing me. But I guess not. I get confused for him a lot of times out in public.
I can see it.
Yeah. Next, we go to the mad scientist, Brian Banner, in the lab. Banner, there's also a movie out right now called The Wolfman. Is this the story of you in college after 4 shots of Captain Morgan?
Freshman year, yes. Sophomore year is probably about 7 or 8 shots.
Okay. The sequel will really up the stakes.
Yeah. I mean, you just kind of you got to go big or go home, right?
By his junior and senior year, he just embraced the Wolfman. He wasn't anything else.
I was just the man or the wolf. You decide.
At that point, when it's the full moon, you turn you're always Wolfman, and then you turn into like a man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, he's sobering up. What's happening?
It's the one night a month I can go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
It's healthy for your liver to take those 5 or 6 days off, you know?
Its body's a temple. Clean in, clean out. We've been saying that for years. All right, guys, here on the Bro 4 Squad podcast, we start every day off, with the most important thing in any bro's life. That's chest day. So our chest day topic, as you can tell by the title of this one, it is time to look at 2025, the year in movies ahead, and make our predictions for what's going to happen with this movie landscape. We do this every year with a pretty similar format, where we go through our biggest sleeper movie, our most anticipated, and our biggest flop. Maybe not in that order, or biggest flops. And then we'll go through a few honorable mentions, just movies we are looking forward to or think could be interesting this year. Before we get this going, I do want to give a shout out to friend of the pod, big time listener of ours, Tahu, at Panther Tahu on X and Twitter, because he sent over a link. I think Culture Crave is who put this together, but it's a banner of like all the movies coming out this year that actually made it really easy for us to put together these lists and help just kind of sift through all the stuff coming out in theaters and on streaming this year. So thank you, Panther Tahu. This guy listens to every one of our shows. And Brian, you will especially like him because he was a big fan of your point about how ballpoint pens frequently don't get used to their full potential. He was definitely on your side.
I've been saying it for decades. You can ask Thurman, literally decades.
Yeah, he'll agree.
He'll vouch for me.
All right, so we've each put together just a couple of movies, for 1 or 2 for like each of these categories that kind of stood out to us. And recording this in this current landscape I think has gotten even more interesting, because now I would say, I don't know, I hesitate to say this to think that it's too hyperbolic, but I almost feel like the movies that come to streaming now, I look forward just as much to as the ones that get released in theaters. How have you guys felt about that
100%
sort of paradigm
agree
shift?
With that. 100% agree with that. I am more choosy now about which ones I go to the theaters to see, because not all of us are AMC A-list members like you.
Very true, yeah.
We don't have that. Yeah, we don't have that status. So a little more picky and choosy where I go to the theaters. But some of the streaming movies that come out, phenomenal. Can't wait.
Yeah, I think the last 5 years has changed. I mean, whether by force with COVID or how, why we would put ourselves in the middle of a crowd and talking teenagers and things like that. Like, the combination of access has really shifted. But to Banner's point, like some movies absolutely need to be seen in theater, and yeah, there's so many that's worth going to, even with friends, or even if it's not like a cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah, the Dune 2s, the Twisters, the Deadpool and Wolverines, you got to go to theaters for those. But Cycling and I have brought this up, like especially the last 2 years, especially for horror movies. I feel like once a month you or I will text the other person and be like, dude, this Shudder original that just came out is fucking fire. Or this Netflix horror movie, like It's What's Inside, that we, like came kind of out of nowhere straight to streaming. Dude. It's just as good as anything you'll go see in theaters.
And I'm not saying horror movies can't be great in theater, but man, if there's one movie that the vibe of the audience throws me off, it's horror, right? If if two people in there are laughing or something like that, it just like takes me out of my element. But like me watching horror at home, turning all the lights off, like just really can put myself in that element.
Definitely. Okay, do you guys want to start with the positive, most anticipated, or want to go somewhere else? We have 3 categories before we get into. I just made up another list at the end. Let's go positive.
Oh, that's boo. Who's positive anymore?
We'll go positive, and then everything after that will be negative and pessimistic. This is tradition. So most anticipated movies of the year. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Films we are very much looking forward to. As much as I wanted to make this list for me, like stuff that might be a little bit off the radar, that's probably more for biggest sleeper. I just have I have 4 blockbusters here for mine. So kind of went chalk. Banner, what is one of your or a couple of your most anticipated movies of 2025?
Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Really?
Absolutely fucking not, guys.
I was gonna say,
I was about
you
to
guys
like,
should have seen your face. Oh my god, it worked. That was amazing.
I mean, like in terms of a movie that's probably gonna make a lot of money, I was just like, I didn't know you've come around on the franchise.
No, I wanted to actually put that as biggest flop, but it won't be because it's gonna make a gajillion dollars, unfortunately. No, my real most anticipated is Tron Ares. I love Tron Legacy. Jeff, you know me. You love it as well. It's criminally underrated, I think.
Oh, I don't know if it's in my top 100. It's damn close. And the Daft Punk score is
so
fucking.
sick.
It did not have to go that. No score or soundtrack has gone that hard since Phil Collins' Tarzan soundtrack.
Talk about a movie you absolutely needed to see in theaters.
Yes.
Yeah, this is one that I'll definitely go see in theaters. But
actually, sorry, Banner, real quick. Cycly, you and I saw this in IMAX together.
Yeah, we
if
did.
You remember?
We
and
did,
I remember the cool thing about the IMAX in our hometown. I don't know if every IMAX theater does this. Banner, you've probably been to IMAX more than I have recently. But when you're sitting in the theater waiting for the movie to start, even before the previews, they play the score to it.
It's just like builds up the anticipation. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So it's pretty sick. Sorry, Banner.
No, you're fine. Spoiler, I actually don't like IMAX. They make me like motion sick. I don't know.
That's a spoiler?
I guess.
Ruined it for me. Damn.
What ending was I going to discover this?
Well, now I can't watch Brian sit in an IMAX theater because I know how it ends.
Nope, can't do it. Tron Ares, though, I think this is going to be phenomenal. Jeff Bridges coming back. Can't wait. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm really excited about this one.
So I had this on my list too. One thing I'm confused with. So Jared Leto is in it. Are they?
I just saw that.
Are they just going to abandon the Cillian Murphy cameo in the first one at the beginning, where he's clearly set up for the next villain? Is he just too expensive for them?
Got to be either that or maybe some sort of scheduling conflict. Because isn't he in Peaky Blinders? Also?
And 28 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he's not in that. That got shot down, unless it's going to be a surprise.
Really? I saw him do an interview for it last week.
He got interviewed for it? They were all saying he was in the trailer, and then they all came out and said...
No, well, that was a different actor, but he is in the movie, they said.
Oh, I read maybe the director is trying to be coy. Yeah, maybe I misread that.
Okay, yeah, because I saw him do an interview about how he was pumped to work with Danny Boyle again.
Drama. Yeah, someone's lying to me.
Who knows? Someone out there's probably like, I know. So Cillian Murphy not in this? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate because the way they teased him, I was super fucking excited for. Anyone who knows more than I do, comment below on Cillian Murphy if he is or is not in 28 years later, or Cillian Murphy, who I know is listening to this. Let us know.
Yeah, just send us a text already, man.
Yeah. No, I'd rather not, guys.
Just DM me. No big deal.
Keep doing the pod. You're doing a great job. Don't need me to chime in. Banner, do you have any other most anticipated?
No. I'm gonna save. I have a lot of honorable mentions.
Yeah,
I'll just say that.
Cycly, I want to say this one just because I said it last year, and this has happened before on the pod where a movie has made the movie preview show multiple
at
years
least twice.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done that before. Yeah,
this is 2 years in a row, I think.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately. And sadly, Cycly, you can probably speak better to this than I can. I actually feel less confident in this movie coming out this year than I did last year.
Yeah, there was momentum last year.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know if they've shot a single fucking frame of this thing yet, but Saw 11 is on my most anticipated list. Basically, and Cycly, I think I speak for you here as well. Any year that a Saw movie is coming out, it will be on my list. I'll just make this just a yearly staple for me. Saw 11 on my most anticipated. I hope it's not on here next year because I hope it comes out, but I'm not very sure about that. Cillian Murphy again. Comment below. Is Saw 11?
He's actually our fact checker on the pod.
Yeah,
he's got nothing better.
He
to do.
interns for us.
Yeah.
Cycly, do you have? I know you like kind of peruse the social media for both Lionsgate and this movie. Do we know if this is any closer to actually coming out this year than it was last year?
Everything we know that is supposedly coming out. It has a release date, I believe, and there is, I think, as well, principal. Something started in December. I can't remember what it was, pre-production or something. The rumor is, at least, that either the script was being finalized or some sort of pre-production. Now, again, when it comes to the Saw franchise, at this point in it, we might take it for a grain of salt, right? The pros of this is these movies take a month to film. So, like, it's not unrealistic that if it hasn't started, that it won't and can't happen. But two, because it's low budget.
The last 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. What are they going to do? Yeah. But on the other side of it is because these movies are just so not probably high on the priority list, it could easily be past another year. So,
yeah,
we'll be there either way.
Right. Just let me know when I have to buy my ticket. All right, I got two more, but Cycly, I want to give you a chance here. What are your most anticipated movies of the year?
So I'm going to make one of my claims that I want to make. It's not about one movie. I want us to come back in a year and call me out on this, on how wrong I was. I don't think 2025 is going to be an overly big year for movies in terms of some of these films coming out. There's, we're getting a lot of sequels. We're getting a lot of, just films built on other films on our IP. But I was taking a look at it, and I'm even thinking about Oscar buzz for next year. There's only like a couple that like I've been reading about, and some A24 movies coming about. So my prediction really quickly is going to be 2025 is going to be a relatively weaker year for movies.
I agree.
I don't think that's a bold statement at all.
Okay. All right. Well, I like to be proven wrong. So hopefully we're all wrong on that. So one of my most anticipated, and again, I don't feel like this is going to be anything like of a special movie, but I just fucking loved the last one. So it's going to be Knives Out 3, Wake Up Dead Man. And I just, Glass Onion, I could rewatch that movie over and over and over.
So fucking good.
I like
good.
That better than Knives Out.
I like it better than Knives Out too. Like the one as well. It may be like one everyone knows on the pod, Jeff. We always joke that I love a delicious whodunit. And Daniel Craig makes just such a captivating detective. And that he really steals every scene he's on. The creativity of some of these is just, they're fun movies to watch. I get excited. I always want more of the like kind of mystery, black comedy, satire, just kind of like, it's aware of what it is, but it's also like providing its own, imagery in a different way. Like, I don't know. They're very fun movies, and we don't defend our boy Ryan Johnson on the pod. because we're not big fans of his, but I will defend him on these.
These are his best movies, and
yeah.
I'm looking at this cast. Dare I say this is the best Knives Out cast we've had.
That says something. I was going to talk about the cast. That says something because of how amazing Glass Onion's cast was.
Yeah. So we got my girl Kaylee Spaney from Alien Romulus, one of my favorite movies last year. Kerry Washington, of course, Daniel Craig, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Glenn Close, and then Brian Arboy, the Sandman, Thomas Hayden Church.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And Andrew Scott, who's kind of creepy in everything he's in. This is great.
Yeah,
do we know when
I'm
this
very
comes
excited
out?
about it. I think end of March, but I could be wrong about that.
Is this also on Netflix? Did Ryan
Johnson make Netflix made a big like they bought. I'm pretty sure the rights to Knives Out 2 and 3 when that originally went down.
Okay.
And so yeah, I think it's going to be straight on Netflix. And again, this is the kind of movie like I would probably go see in theater, but like let's be honest, guys, this doesn't need to be seen in theater. This is a fun movie or watch with your friends, with your wife, whatever, your significant other. Get some popcorn and snacks and just have a good time. So, like, really, this is the perfect kind of movie to have at home. But I'm not seeing the release date. Maybe I missed it.
Google isn't showing it either. It just says
2025 right now.
This could be a dark horse candidate for maybe a Super Bowl trailer.
Oh, yes.
Nah. That'd be cool.
Because remember when Netflix dropped the Cloverfield Paradox on us?
God, they fucked this so hard.
A fucking pig to slop. I was like, God damn it.
But it was, what a move.
I know, it worked. 100%.
And you know what? If they did it this year, I would fucking do it again.
I was literally thinking about that while I was taking a piss the other day. I was like, dude, if they did that this year, I would watch another piece of shit movie just because of how much I respect the move. Didn't it say like available to stream after the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's what I'm doing.
Yep.
So cool.
I stayed up till like fucking 2 a.m. to watch that shit.
We all did. I think we're all texting. Because I was watching the Super Bowl at your house banner, and I was like, all right, we're going home. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that'll basically have you not sleeping. Do you have any other ones, Cycly? That's a really good one.
Yeah, this is a hard one. I'm putting this on the line of most anticipated, but really I'm going to go put it more of an honorable mention, mainly due to the fact that we don't know shit about this movie. It's the next Paul Thomas Anderson film. Rumored is it's going to be called The Battle of Bacton Cross. But really, we don't know anything about this film. Now, I am a big Paul Thomas Anderson film. Some of the best movies, some of the best performances. He is a director who can just get incredible performances all around from his entire cast. And this cast, I think this has Leonardo DiCaprio, Regina Hall, Sean Penn, and Wood Harris, Benicio del Toro.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, so God. Like he's already a guy, in my opinion, a director who can just get the best out of everyone, and he's an incredible storyteller. Like some of his movies might be a little slow for some. Again, it's very like just driven in plot and character, but I personally love his films. And so again, we don't really know much about this. It's supposed to be, maybe it's rumored to be like about like drug war, Reagan, 80s Americana. Leo might be on the run or something like that, but it's really like mum's the word on this. So like, I don't know when we're going to find anything out. It's anticipated to me mainly because of the star power and the director and what they can do with that. But that's why it's more of an honorable mention, because I just don't know anything. So we'll find out.
How would you even direct Leo and Sean Penn in the same movie?
I don't think they can be in the same room. That's too much.
No,
you don't.
That'd be like having Jordan and Kobe on the same team.
There's not enough shots to go around.
Yeah.
But rumor is August 8th.
Toro.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro. Like August 8th is the release date, which seems quicker to me. Like in terms of that's not that far away, and the fact that we don't know anything, and I don't know if that's Paul Thomas Anderson purposely keeping that way. Like, but I don't find him like he's not your typical like Jordan Peele type director who like mystery is.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know what's going on with that. So I'm a little interested in to see if maybe there's something else going on here.
Very interesting. Yeah, I don't even think we have a poster or anything yet, based on what I'm seeing.
No, I don't. There's not even a plot It's not even titled. The Battle of Back and Cross is like the rumor of what it's being called. On Wikipedia, it's still called Untitled Paul Thomas Anderson Film.
Yeah, and a lot of times that could just be like the working title that they have. Like, remember, what was The Dark Knights? It was like Judy's Kiss or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Any others?
Nope.
All right, I kind of went chalk here after Saw 11. I have Mortal Kombat 2, which I'm really excited for. We have Carl Urban playing Johnny Cage, which I think could be really fun. I really liked the first one. It was like a little more of a serious approach to it, but I think it also had enough self-awareness to what it was. Like, we're not making Schindler's List here. Like, still have some fun with the Mortal Kombat movie, but also let's not make it so fucking stupid that like it's inaccessible. And the sequel, Banner, I know you and I watched this, I think, hungover on a couch at my bachelor party.
We 100% did. I felt like death.
When the movie ends, you and I were like, that was cool, but like Mortal Kombat doesn't even start.
Right. We didn't even get to the tournament yet.
Yeah, so I guess that's what I'm looking forward to in the second one. Is the actual Mortal Kombat part. It's weird that we have to wait for a part 2 to get that, but that's where we're set up.
Yeah, not mad about it though. I really like the first one.
Yeah, I'm pumped for it. And then another one I'm looking forward to. Again, I'm just a pig to slop to these. You guys know I'm an unabashed, massive fan of this franchise as much as I've tried to fight it. And that's Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. The Mission Impossible
Are we
movies,
sure?
Yeah. Promise?
Promise?
It's like Saw 7, the final chapter.
Yeah. 4 more later. So this one was originally like Dead Reckoning, the previous installment, which was really good. This was originally a 2-parter. I really think it still is. They just changed the title to this one. Because remember, the first promotion for Dead Reckoning was Dead Reckoning Part 1, and then they changed it to just Dead Reckoning, and now Final Reckoning. So adding Haley Atwell to this is also something that works really well for me. I love the way that they find ways to like put interesting people next to Tom Cruise. We had Jeremy Renner for 2 movies, obviously Rebecca Ferguson, Henry Cavill, Haley Atwell now. So they've done a good job of rotating the ancillary characters to keep some fresh blood in this franchise. And I still think there's juice left to squeeze out of this. So this one has me really excited. And we're also
You're going to say that until they've made 87 of them.
For sure. But Tom Cruise is determined to kill himself doing a stunt in this, is where we're at. So those are my most anticipated. You guys ready to move on to biggest sleeper?
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Cycling, why don't you go first? Biggest sleeper movie or movies? These are films that you think could surprise some people, might be kind of off the radar right now, or maybe movies that people just know about but aren't really expecting that much from, that you think could really be like kind of big surprises or fun films that maybe we're not giving enough credit to.
Also not a movie called Sleeper, because once I said there was a movie called Sleeper coming out, and
yeah,
you guys did not appreciate that. Probably my biggest sleeper, and this is definition of sleeper like you gave, this could be a financial flop. We'll see. Horror movies in general, it's difficult, and it's coming out pretty, in April, I believe. So it's the movie called Sinners. And it's Ryan Coogler, who, I really doesn't necessarily have the greatest movies, but I mean, he has some really solid movies.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, and I really, Black Panther. I mean, Judas and the Black Messiah, I thought was phenomenal. Obviously, I don't know if you ever saw the Creed. Yeah, and the Space Jam. What the new one. Whatever we think of that, I think we had fun with it, right?
Did he direct that?
Yeah,
it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, he didn't direct it. He was like a producer, I think, or something like. Yeah, I think he was a producer.
Okay.
And he was he's behind some good like films. Like again, I don't think he directed that one either, but he was involved in that, and that was a really incredible film. That was definitely the sleeper of its year. But this one's interesting to me because I think the cast is also like Michael B. Jordan, being main role. We haven't really seen. I mean, horror is going to be an interesting draw for him. But it's overall the like we have Haley Stanfield in it, Jack O'Connell. But really, the plot is like, just I think it's about 2 brothers. I believe he's playing himself in the dual role. We don't know too much about it, but basically I know like two brothers are like coming home and there's something evil going on. And I'm really looking at it as the potential here. Could be an absolute flop. I think there's a fine line between sleepers and flops. And it could go either way. But I'm very intrigued by Ryan Coogler. It's going into horror. Michael B. Jordan in the same level. And from what it seems like, the plot seems very like captivating. So I think I'm putting that as my big sleeper.
I saw the trailer for this and I didn't realize it was like a horror movie. It's potentially genre as well. I don't know if it's like vampires or what. I did not get that vibe from the trailer at all. It almost just played like a period piece set in the Jim Crow South, which I think it still is, but there's also definitely a horror element that I didn't really get from the trailer, and possibly genre, depending on some.
Yeah, I thought the trailer was pretty intriguing, and the sound of the trailer really kind of like it piqued my interest in a weird way. Like I was like, okay, what is this movie actually about? So maybe they're just for once not trying to reveal too much, which we always talk about trailers do. But yeah, so I think it's coming out sometime in April. So hopefully this pans out. I'm like I said, between the director and the cast, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, he's worked with Michael B. Jordan a lot. He also directed Fruitvale Station with him. So this is at least the fourth time they've worked together. And I'm sure he helped orchestrate that great cameo of his in Space Jam.
Of course, yeah. Michael Jordan.
This is the wrong guy. I told him that when I was coming down here. Any other cycling?
No, again, more that fit under my honorable mention.
Perfect. Boehner, how about you? What movies are sleeping this year that you need to wake up?
All right, guys. Predator Badlands. This is the next installment in the Predator series.
I loved Prey a lot.
And this is directed and screenplay by the same guy. So I have a lot of faith in that. Ellie Fanning we know she's in it. We don't really know a whole lot else, but I'm excited.
So do we know the time period? Because when Prey came out, I think a lot of people on the internet were like, you know, it would be sick just putting Predator in different time periods, like a Renaissance Predator, swords and sandals Predator.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
it does not. At least Wikipedia doesn't say, and that's as far as my as far as my research goes. Sorry,
Cillian Murphy, comment below and let us know.
Yeah,
what's happening here?
It's gonna be up late tonight. Got a lot of questions.
Oh yeah, I'm always down for a Predator movie. I think we're also getting an animated one this year as well.
We are, yes. I don't know that they've released the title or the release date or not, but that one's coming out.
I wonder if it will have any tie into this movie.
That would be cool, but it would be kind of weird though.
Yeah. All right, good one. You got any others?
No, that's my only sleeping one. I mean, like Cycly said, I don't think this is just going to be a movie year. There's nothing that's going to be great, blow us out of the water, have to see. I don't think there's a lot of potential for things to be really bad, but there's also a lot of potential for every movie to just be like, yeah, that was entertaining.
Yeah. Okay, I got a couple here. I won't talk about these very long at all. One that I think people are just taking for granted is From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. That's the title I saw online. I hope that's not what they're going with. It's Ballerina, just that. But Ana de Armas plays one of the ballerina assassins from the world of John Wick. Now, the thing that I think people are sleeping on here, I have heard reports that Keanu Reeves is in almost 80% of this movie.
So in this movie, he actually has a lot. Like that'd be funny if he has a ton of lines. In this one, it's not even.
But they're marketing it like it's a John Wick spin-off movie, and I've heard from multiple news outlets that he is in so much of the film that it's basically like another John Wick, but it like works really well. So
you have me at Ana de Armas though. Like, man, she's incredible.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah. Her and him kicking ass together would be super sick. So that's one that I think people are like, we all know John Wick, we kind of take it for granted at this point, but I think this could be a really, really fun time at the box office. Another one is this F1 movie with Brad Pitt. It's called F1. Now, my brother-in-law is a massive fan of F1. I know Nate Thurman is as well. I just think this is a sleeping giant at the box office. I think this is a sport that has grown massively in popularity, not just in the United States in recent years, but like worldwide. And I think putting Brad Pitt as the main actor in it, this is going to give people like Moneyball vibes all over again. I could see this surprising people and maybe doing like 200 million at the box office.
I could totally see that.
Do we? Okay, just not because of the movie. Do we think the whole shit with Brad Pitt and the way all the news coming out about him, about the like disgusting things he's done to his kids and his ex-wife, like, do we think that could hurt this movie, or do we think like the F1 is just a big enough brand?
It possibly could. Yeah, the stuff that, I mean, if they do end up releasing it theatrically, I would assume, I mean, if the Flash movie can come out with Ezra Miller,
yeah, that's
it's like, if they release it theatrically, they obviously are like getting projections that they feel like his image isn't so damaged. But I don't know. That's a good point. It's also one of those things where it's like our national attention span is so short. People will be like, when did that happen? It's like,
yeah, who gives a fuck now?
And, yeah, it's sad to say, but it's so true.
It's kids.
Great question, though. Another one, Matt Stone and Trey Parker have a musical coming out with Kendrick Lamar writing a lot of the songs. Now, I love Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Team America, I think, is one of the most genius comedies of like the last 25 years. Obviously, South Park is great. But the reason this has me intrigued, I haven't seen it, but I mean, Book of Mormon is regarded as one of the funniest musicals.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw it when it came to our hometown.
I still need to go see it. So them doing a musical, like a feature film musical, has me really intrigued here. This
Especially
is
with Kendrick.
Yeah.
Right? What an interesting pairing. Geniuses and geniuses there. That's a July 4th release, so that could be like a big summer tentpole film. But
we don't know that. We don't know the name or anything, right?
No, right now all I see is Matt Stone, Trey Parker, and Kendrick Lamar musical.
That's a good name.
Maybe they'll
just keep it at that.
It's up there with Untitled Paul Thomas Anderson film.
Yeah, they've both focus grouped really well. Another one, this is, I almost should have put this in like potential biggest flop. Like Cycly said, there's a fine line here. So we all remember the Naked Gun series with Leslie Nielsen, comedic genius. They are rebooting this with Liam Neeson.
Wait, this is real?
Yes.
I always thought that was a joke.
He could be hilarious in this role. It could be a crash and burn situation.
Liam Neeson is actually, if you ever go watch his like sketch comedy, he's been in a few. Like,
yeah,
I can see him doing it. I just don't know if there's that's gonna be like a big audience thing now. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm intrigued by it. But it could be like one of the surprise comedies of the year in a year that I don't think we have many good comedies coming out. And then the last one I have, if the Glenn Powell Assance is still a thing by the time this film comes out, he is remaking Running Man with Edgar Wright, which is just a movie that I was very intrigued by. This could potentially maybe get like some Oscar buzz, or it could be Razzie buzz.
Mm-hmm.
Either way. Edgar Wright, we're like 12 films in, and I still don't know if he sucks or if he's awesome as a filmmaker. It's like every other movie with his. I'm like on a different page. So, all right, that's all I have for sleepers. We will close it out with a negative category. Biggest flop. Guys, this was really easy for me to put together my list this year. Got to be honest.
Start us off.
All right. A Minecraft movie.
Kids are obsessed with this, dude.
My students say this thing looks like dog shit.
Okay.
Now they'll probably go see it still. I'll be like, well, if you guys go pay to see it, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is a hard one. I mean, I don't think it looks good at all, but man, people are obsessed with Minecraft. So that's the only thing. It's like,
I agree. And the reason I put flop here, and this is, again, we're probably going to be wrong on most of these, is to Cycly's point. This is an IP that you should be able to take a crap in your hand and say it's Minecraft, and it makes $500 million at the box office. I think Jack Black is an acquired taste that our generation has, and I don't know if the younger generation is like, is that the guy from Jumanji? I'm like, oh my god.
Or they know him as Bowser now.
Basically, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, to us, we see this trailer and we're like, that looks pretty fucking stupid. To kids, they might just see it and be like, that looks nothing like the Minecraft game that I play. I don't care about it. So it'll be interesting to see.
It's weird because Minecraft doesn't have a story. I mean, I've never played it, right? But like, I've had like little kids explain it to me, like when I'm hanging out with my nieces and stuff, and I'm like, you just build. There's not, and I'm like, oh, so there's not really a plot. Yeah.
The game basically just produces like a bunch of Easter eggs that you can put into that they're going to try and incorporate into a film. So it's not like Five Nights at Freddy's, which also has a sequel coming out this year, which I'm pumped for, where it's pretty narrative driven, where it's like you can actually see this translating to a film. This is just like an IP that obviously is insanely popular worldwide, and it's like, how do we actually turn that into a
and this is the hard part
this is giving me Emoji Movie vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Good reference.
And I think that while it will be terrible, there is a large demographic of people that will see this worldwide because of the game.
Yeah.
I think that's where we need to define. Sometimes we struggle to define flop because like movies look at a flop as financially based, right? Like, but sometimes I feel like a flop can for us be like a movie that people are really excited to see. It's going to do well in box office. Just like fucking sucks. I mean, it could be financially flopped too, but like I'm with Banner on this one. I think this makes a lot of money, no matter what. I just don't see how this is going to be good.
Yeah, this is a movie that when I say flop, I mean it could still fail at least compared to what it's expecting financially, but just having the name Minecraft on it, it's probably going to make $450 million on accident. Two others real quick. The Superman James Gunn movie. I've liked James Gunn as a creator. Obviously, his Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is instrumental to the MCU. I don't know what he's going for here. If you watch the trailer to this, he's going for like a golden era age superhero universe that he's building with DC, where it's like clearly doesn't exist in our reality. And if you even just look at Nathan Fillion's costume as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, it's all kind of, it's very campy, and I don't know if audiences will connect with this. It's too close of a translation to the comics that I just don't think works on film. He went back to the underwear for Superman, like little things like that people have always criticized. And I think David Cornsweet looks the part as Superman. I love Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Marvelous Miss Maisel is like one of my wife's favorite shows, but this thing to me, just I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if Superman works anymore as a film.
Yeah, I think we've always discussed that Superman is too much as a superhero. And it's hard to drive something grounded in any base, and like where like superhero movies went for a longest time was like grounded in some sort of reality, like especially what the Batmans have tried to done. But I will say, as someone who's not the biggest Superman fan, I don't mind them going more campy and comic booky, and I'm hoping it works out in the benefit because Superman is such an outrageous superhero that, hey, let's not try to make him this like realistic, sympathetic character, and like he's the original old-fashioned comic superhero. Like, so let's go into that. So I agree with you. I don't have high hopes for really any excitement around this, but like to me that could be something that like redeems it compared to like doing other try to be Batman.
Now, how do you two feel about the concept? So this is the first film in the DCU, Creature Commandos, which just came out on Max. It's the first, like, it's connected. It's the first show. But James Gunn is starting his universe halfway in. So when the movie begins, there's already a ton of superheroes established, and Superman is one of them. Do you guys like that idea more than going origin stories for everyone? Or do you think it's like a unique approach that could work?
I like it. Actually, I think this movie's going to be dog shit, but aside from that, I like the idea of doing something different. DC has tried the origin story thing. It didn't work. Marvel perfected it and overdid it. Let's do something new. I wouldn't even be mad if they didn't even go back and tell us the origin stories.
Yeah, I don't think they plan to.
Yeah, I don't know why you would need to. Like, it's like Uncle Ben, he died. We get it.
I do want to know what happens to Batman's parents, though. We've never seen that.
We all know she was clutching her pearls. That's it's like you don't actually need I don't know. Origin stories are overrated in my opinion. Like sometimes it's nice to see them, but like certain characters we already have that, and like you can only do it so many times. Like I really liked Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like it's not an origin story. He's just really young. He's just an early form of Batman, and it's raw, which I really enjoyed. That we don't need to go too far back before that. Yeah, might as well try something different. But I've always been steadfast as a big DC fan in terms of like the IP, not necessarily the movies. I think I've always wanted the DC universe or DC just to go. Don't try to be Marvel kind of thing. I've always said go darker, go more character driven, go more. I'm fine with your films not having to overlap. If you're not going to beat Marvel at this, and Marvel has shown that you can go too far. So what's your ambition in this? So why not create good character stories, movies, take the gritty, take the more adult approach, and form your own identity. Clearly, that's not what's happening here, but that's what I've always wished.
Yeah. Okay, last flop I have. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Avatar: Fire and Ash will not make $500 million.
Oh, I will put so much money on that.
I think people are over it, dude. And I know I said this before the last one, but I think the gap in between them gave people enough time to get excited about it. But I think people are going to be like, another Avatar movie? We just had one. And what is Avatar doing that other films aren't?
I mean, I agree with you, but the last one made $2.3 billion. And we thought it was going to be a flop too. So I don't know.
We even said on here, we were like, dude, we still think those numbers are made up because I don't know
I
talked to a lot of movie fans. I don't know anyone who paid to go see that.
Right. So if they were willing, let's go into the conspiracy here. I agree. I don't know anyone who saw this. I decided to start it on HBO like a year ago, went 20 minutes and said, nah, no one's got enough time for this. And this is someone who watches a 4-hour movie all the time. Like, I don't know anyone else who's seen this, but if they're willing to lie about the 2.3 billion, they're willing to do it again. Guaranteed. I'm
going to keep fighting this battle until I'm right. And I'm going to do it again. I'll do it again for part 4 and through part 8.
Yeah, I just don't see a scenario where this gets 22% of what the last movie did. I mean, I hope you're right for all of our sakes. We won't be there, but Jesus, I feel like
I guess one thing that also is working against me and this prediction is, what is like an average ticket now? Like $22?
Yeah.
So it's like,
you should go back to the Gone with the Wind ticket sales. Like, that's the most seen movie ever, right? Like, in terms of butts and seats. Yeah.
I'm sticking by it. I don't give a fuck. Fuck this series.
I appreciate the call, though.
All right, Banner, what do you got? Biggest flop?
I had Superman as mine, and then I have one that because I just have to talk about it. Wicked 2. I want it to be bad. I really want it to be bad. I'm sure it won't be, but.
So your wife and daughter don't drag you 3 times to it? Is that why you hope it's bad?
No, I just think it's gonna be too fucking long, and the first one was too fucking long, and we didn't even finish the story. I hate 2-parters, so I'm boycotting it. I mean, I'm gonna see it, but I'm boycotting it, and I hope it's bad.
He's gonna be in the theater. I'm boycotting this movie. They're like, sir, I don't think you know what that means.
And a large popcorn.
Yeah, by the way, I bought my 2 kids and my wife tickets to this, and I bought snacks and concessions. And we might have got dinner at the mall before. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm boycotting.
But I'm boycotting.
But you see how my arms are crossed?
I'm not happy about being.
I'm not happy.
I want everyone to know.
All right, Banner. Is this called, this is probably a dumb question, is it just called Wicked Part 2 or Wicked 2? What's it called?
I think it's actually called Wicked: For Good.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, but is it a 4?
No, it's not.
Wicked For Good. That would make sense if it was the 4th one.
All right. Any other flops, Banner?
I'm gonna parlay this into my honorable mentions. Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah,
you could literally put in all 3 of these categories for me.
Yeah,
One,
I could
it's a Jurassic. It's a Jurassic movie. I'm in. It's 100%. I'm in. So obviously, it's most anticipated for me. Biggest sleeper. I think this. It's weird to say, but I think this could be a really good direction that the franchise is going in.
Well, the buzz has died down enough that it is a sleeper in a way. Like, people don't have high expectations, I feel like.
Right.
Exactly.
And you got ScarJo and Mahershala Ali. I mean, something's got to be
exactly
for this project.
Exactly. But it also could be the biggest flop because it could just be overplayed, and the last couple Jurassic World movies were, kind of subpar. So.
It's sad that we're at the point now where we're seeing dinosaurs on screen and we're just like, and
yeah, I need something more.
Yeah. All right. Cycly, how about you? Biggest flop or flop?
Well, this is literally on the line. I didn't know if I wanted to include it on sleeper side or flop side, so I'm including on the flop side. But I think this is right on the line, where it really could go either way. And it's Mickey 17, the Robert Pattinson movie. And
I hated this trailer.
The trailer, I think it's going to lose people. I think the plot, I'm intrigued by the plot. I think it's super unique. I think it's interesting. It's something like, I think, where your brain goes when you're trying to sleep and it goes off in a weird place and you start thinking how, random scenarios. Like, this is something that, like, like I could see a version of myself doing, right? Like, where you basically die and get regenerated. And, like, would you make that choice to do that? Like, essentially you're never dead and you just always, a version of you comes back. The plot itself is unique and intriguing enough. The cast, Robert Pattinson, who I am a big fan of, Toni Collette, Mark Ruffalo, like, it's a good cast too. But I feel like between the trailer, the movie's gotten delayed once already. I don't know that it will bring in enough, like, just independent, family moviegoers or who this exact movie is for, outside of, like, a very niche group, like it could be me. I can see this movie just being, like, phenomenal. Everyone, like, it could be the cult movie of the year, being like, oh, have you seen this? Like, you actually need to check this out, like kind of Late Night with the Devil last year. Or this movie is just, like, good cast, just no one sees it. So that's why I have it on the line.
Has Bong Joon-ho done a movie since Parasite?
If he has, it might have been a Korean one. I don't know of another American audience one.
Okay. Because he is...
Because I love Snowpiercer.
Yeah. I did too, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is this like his first official, like, full-on American film too?
It's a great question. Was Snowpiercer not American?
Wasn't there? No, I'm forgetting. I'm trying to remember whether I was watching that on a dub or. It's been a minute, but yeah. So, like, anyway, I'm intrigued by this movie. I think the plot itself has me going, but yeah, I don't know if you guys have thought much or heard about this movie.
So with this one, I'm just assuming you think it'll flop critically, right? Because box office wise, it's probably not a movie that's gonna, like,
I could see it, or I could see it, like, on the sleeper side, where it, like, is loved critically and then it doesn't do great in the box office, but, like, throughout the year people talk about it. It's like, oh, it was underrated, oh, have you seen this? Like, that's the opposite side of it.
This will be an interesting one. And like you said, it has been delayed. I don't know, I can't remember why, if it was, like, trying to get distribution or if it was, like, reshoots or anything, but I do remember hearing about it, like, 2 years ago.
But yeah.
Any other 17?
Banner just walked away for a second. I was gonna say Tron Ares as my hot take flop of the year. I always feel like I give one and I'm always wrong on, kind of like, you going with Avatar 3. Like, I'm not saying I love Tron Legacy, as we talked about at the very beginning, but I think it's a different world now than when Tron Legacy came out. In terms of what we're same thing with Avatar. Tron offered something really, really unique visually in theaters when we went. I don't know if we're at that capacity anymore, and especially I hate Jared Leto, so he can go fuck himself.
Same.
So anything he's attached to really just pisses me off. So I always root against him, not against the Tron franchise. So I wish there was a way for the movie to do well, and he doesn't.
We basically replaced Cillian Murphy with Jared Leto because Cillian Murphy is set up as the next villain in the second one, and then we end up getting...
Yeah, that is a piss poor trade.
Yeah.
Worst deal in the history of deals.
In the history of deals. Yeah, this is like the Herschel Walker trade or the Mark Teixeira trade.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, basically. We got fucking ripped off here. With Tron Legacy, one thing I also thought of too, maybe you have a different memory of this than I do, or you can think of a different example, but that was the first time that I ever saw the de-aging technology used with Jeff Bridges as well.
Ooh,
and it looked,
you might be right.
It was pretty rough in that movie. Like, it still looked convincing, but, like, you could tell, like, the jawline was was kind of.
I mean, it was rough by the time of like Last Jedi and so that has always been even in the Star Wars movies. So you're probably right, and that's why I went back to saying Tron offered us something. Legacy offered us something when it came out. I don't feel like it's doing that this time.
Jeff Bridges gives an entire performance in the movie as the de-aged version. So it's not like it's like one flashback scene that they use. Like when they go into Tron, his character is not like his original character, but the clone of him is like in the age that he was in the original. Yeah, it's trapped in there.
So Banner, while you're gone, I give my hot take biggest flop, and it was Tron Ares.
Yeah, I can totally see that as well.
Yeah, my only point was saying like it kind of like the Avatar thing. Like it offered something new 20 years ago or 15 years ago, but I don't know about now.
It's a
but I said it's mainly Jared Leto that I hate, so I'm rooting for it. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that there may be a little something to this. There is at the theme parks in Florida, they have a Tron ride that just opened up like maybe a year ago. So there is some buzz around the franchise in general. So that may help that.
Right. It is crazy. That actually makes a big difference if you have a ride currently out for a franchise. Like a lot of eyeballs get on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Honorable mentions list. I have just a rapid fire list of a few horror movies, two of which I want to read the plot description, and I want Cycly to give me on a scale of to is intrigued. But I can go last. Banner, do you have a list of honorable mentions you want to run through for whatever reason, movies, good, bad, or indifferent, that caught your eye that you want to talk
about? So I've never seen the animated How to Train a Dragon, but the trailer, I've heard that. I just, for whatever reason, I've never seen it, which is very uncharacteristic like of me. But I saw the trailer for the live action. Dude, that looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Just so
is
the
Gerard
trailer
Butler in this, or was that a rumor?
I'm not sure.
I think it might. I'll look it up. Cillian Murphy, let us know.
Man, he better get to work. He's gonna be up late. He's got a lot to do. So I'm excited about this. If I may not see it in theaters necessarily, but I will definitely. I'm gonna go and watch the animated one for sure, and then as soon as I get a chance, I'll see this. So trailer look good. I think that's an exciting one.
Yeah, this is obviously really popular. I think it's got 3 movies and a television show, so people love this shit. So it should do pretty well.
And then real quick, I think Brave New World is going to be like Texas and bring the MCU back. And then I think parlay that with the Fantastic Four movie coming out as well. I think that we're gonna breathe a little bit more life back into the MCU, which will be a refresher.
Yeah, I think
Fingers
Marvel's
crossed.
Going to go 2 for 2 this year.
I do too.
Nice. All right, Cycly, how about you? Any honorable mentions?
We already said Saw 11. In terms of horrors, 28 years later, I'm torn on this one because, again, we are far removed from the originals. But I am having it as an honorable mention because both 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later are fantastic entries, especially like unique takes on the zombie genre. Both great movies in their own right. I mean, 28 Weeks Later, it's very rare for a sequel to hit as hard as this one did. So it gives me that alone. Great, makes me really excited about it. But again, kind of like we just talked about Tron or any of the others, like it's just like after you get so far removed from something, there's a question of like what the anticipation is going to be like from that audience perspective. There's horror heads like us that will be there, but
I was going to say, I
don't
think
know if new audiences are involved.
I think the 28. What is this franchise universe? I don't know what we're calling it. 28 movies, whatever. I think that they're popular enough and people know they're good enough that they're like, oh, hey, another one's coming out. They were 2 for 2. Let's see if they can do it again.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think, I'm really intrigued about it. But I just, when I think of like Gen Z or even the next generation coming up, like when I think of those who are spending money on tickets, like, yeah, it's always, I don't know the pulse of that. And, I try to put myself back when I was like 15, 16. A movie that like didn't exist until I was born. Like, am I excited about it? I don't know. So we'll see, but it could be on the other end. And then this is a silly one for me, but this is one of my happy movies. Zootopia is a movie I just love so much.
I do too. Shakira is my favorite. I love her so much.
Like this is up there with Aladdin to me in terms of like if I am just really upset, if I've had a bad day, like a movie that will just pick me up. So we're getting Zootopia 2 this year. Which in my opinion, I'm surprised it took this long for that movie to get a sequel.
Did they already do a Disney Plus show, or is that coming out?
Oh, Banner might know the answer to that. I was not aware of that.
I believe it was some shorts, and they are already out.
Okay.
But yeah,
it's called Zootopia Plus.
Nice. I mean, this movie had so much like the metaphors in Zootopia are just like incredible for a kids movie and great lessons to be taught. But like, it's just like it just fills you up.
So fun too.
It's so fun, and it has it's everything a kids movie should be. And yeah, so we'll see what they do with Zootopia 2. I mean, I'm gonna try and just go in without like not expecting to get like that same satisfaction from this one, but still excited.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the concepts in the original, like a sloth working at the DMV.
Oh my god, funny. That scene is like incredible.
Looks like him getting pulled over at the end, speeding.
Yeah, flash, 100-yard dash.
Looks like we have most of the cast back too. So that'll be good. Any others?
Quick mention: we got the Michael Jackson biopic this year. That'll be an interesting one. We'll see what the stomach. Can't remember. Isn't it someone related to him? Jafar Jackson. Yeah. So
will this be kind of like a pun intended, like a whitewashing of his legacy?
It'll be interesting. That's what I mean. Again, that fact that someone his relative is involved, I anticipate that it will be. But it was like the same with, it's like, I think people will go. I mean, he's too beloved, and obviously the question is how deep the movie goes into his life.
Yeah. Or like even how far into it, because it looks like Jackson 5 days from these picture photos.
Yeah, there's a lot here.
Very interesting. I didn't know that was coming out this year. Okay. Can I do my list? You guys have anything else? All right. Cycly, I'm going to read you 3 different horror movies titles and then the description of them. And I want you to give me like I said, on a scale from to how turned on you are. Boehner, you can weigh in as well, but Cycly's the real horror hound here, so they might all be for you. All right, first up, in February, we actually just got a trailer for this that I sent you. A movie called Heart Eyes. Looks like this year's Thanksgiving. The plot synopsis is a killer starts targeting couples on Valentine's Day. What is your reaction? Oh, Banner.
Yeah, okay. I feel like we've already had this movie before.
Yeah, but just
based on the description.
But this is like that with an emoji movie combined.
Actually, the thing I really liked about this trailer, and Cycly knows I'm a sucker for this, is the killer's mask looks really cool.
Yeah.
He has like light up heart eyes as he's murdering them on the mask.
It's cute.
All right, Cycly, these next 2 I'm hoping are totally off your radar because I had to watch a YouTube video on upcoming horror movies in 2025 to find them. But I'm very intrigued by these plots, so we'll see if you are too. These actually both come out in April, which is kind of weird. And I think they're both going to be VOD, but I'm not sure. The first one is called Drop, and here is the plot synopsis. Now, both these have pretty decent casts. I'll look this up as I stall real quickly. So Drop has Tom Hardy, Noomi Rapace. Oh wait, that's a different movie. I'm sorry.
I was like, Drop. Really? This is
no, totally different. Megan Fahey, who from White Lotus season 2 plays a big role. So she's the main character in this. Here's the plot synopsis. A widowed mother on her first date in years starts getting vague, threatening text messages from an unknown number.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep going. All right. I'm intrigued.
No, that's it. That's all they have for us. Drop. So that one has me intrigued. And then my last one, this feels right down our alley. It's called Until Dawn. A group of friends stays the night at a ski lodge, but soon realizes they are not alone.
Again, I feel like we've had that movie before.
Yeah, that's a lot of. I mean, that's like that's your basic plot in horror.
Look up the cast for this one.
Not in a bad way. I'm not saying it can't be good. Yeah.
They're at a ski lodge, guys.
Enter teens in any location, and they're not alone.
Maya Mitchell, what's she in? I'm sure my wife watched for sure. So, all right, that's all I had for honorable mentions. We also get Megan 2.0 and the legacy sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer with Freddie Prinze and Jennifer Love Hewitt coming back, so that could be fun.
Yeah, some good horror additions. I don't know if it'll be quite like the 2024 year of horror, but yeah, there's some exciting ones to look forward to.
2024 horror came out of nowhere, man. That was a very pleasant surprise. Doing the Brosker list for that was like picking which of your favorite children you want to live or die.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, so you pick the one who's good at sports, obviously. All right, second part of our show. I don't have much here. Our protein shake. We go around and talk about what's in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. So that's our predictions for 2025. Let's hope it's a good movie year. I only have, I think, one thing that I want to talk about that I know Banner's watched. Banner, we'll go to you first. What's in your cup? What have you seen lately?
I haven't been on the pod, I think, since actually Christmas. So here's one that I watched. Red One. Guys, I didn't hate it.
I've heard good things.
Guys, it was a lot of fucking fun.
Really?
For a change, the North Pole was kind of fucking cool. A lot of the movie doesn't happen there. There were a couple things that were like, okay, really? But like, it's not an every year watch, but it's a definitely like every other year. It was a lot of fun. Chris
Amazon
Evans is
keeps
having the
recommending
time
I
of his
watch it.
life.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Is The Rock too much The Rock for you, or is it a tolerable amount?
It's a tolerable amount. There are a couple times where you're just like, okay, barf, but the rest of it makes up for it. It's pretty fucking good.
So I kind of am intrigued, but it's also like I'm at the point of the worst time of the year to watch a Christmas movie. I feel
Yeah,
like.
I can't watch Christmas movies and not Christmas.
This is one to put on the radar for next year.
Okay.
It'll be around.
Now, Banner, like, did you watch this with Baby Banner, or like, I'm just wondering?
Oh no,
I don't see a scenario where I watch it is the problem. Do I need to be with a kid?
Oh, absolutely not. No,
Okay.
Absolutely not. I think it's like a PG-13. Like, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a Santa Claus like kiddie movie.
She's getting older now, but like, would Krampus have scared her in this?
I've actually never seen Krampus.
Well, no. The Krampus
isn't Krampus in this movie.
Yeah, no, the one who slaps he slaps the Rock, dude. I've seen the whole scene.
Yeah, Krampus is in this movie.
Did you watch Red One?
Oh, yeah. My bad. No, that wouldn't
time.
That wouldn't scare her.
I know more about the movie that you saw than you do?
Guys, just it's fine. Okay.
That slap fight scene is like the scene that it's like the only scene they fully released on YouTube, so I had to watch it, of course.
Yeah, that is not the best part of the movie. I will say that.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put this on my watch list for next year.
Yeah, it's definitely a wait till next year, maybe early in the year, in case you don't like it, so you can get the taste out of your mouth.
Yeah, it's really funny because I don't know what the distribution deal was, but Amazon got it like the day before Christmas when it left theaters, and they've still been like throwing it in my face, and I'm like, dude, no. you guys got fucked over, and whatever your deal was, like, you got this one day before Christmas. No one's gonna want to watch this after it, so stop. It's pathetic. But I will watch next year. I like the cast, obviously. Ben, anything else?
Yeah, I'll talk about What If season 3.
Yeah, so
I know you watched it. You go first. What'd you think?
So with the What If series, I feel like it's because they're not necessarily. I mean, we've realized, especially last season, that they're not anthologies, so to speak. But it's very episode to episode how much I like the season, so it's kind of tough to judge on a whole. This one I think was my second favorite season. Season 1 is the best. It had some very high highs and some very low lows. The thing I told you is it has some cool ideas, like the Red Guardian Winter Soldier episode would be an awesome movie.
That's the Falcon and Winter Soldier that I wanted.
Right? That was really, really cool. The Mech Avengers, like it was almost like a Voltron one.
Yeah, with the
really
Gamma
cool,
Beasts.
Yeah, really cool idea, but the actual story in it, I was like, man,
it wasn't executed well. Yeah, it wasn't executed well. I did like the scene at the end though with Hulk like on the top of that mountain, like King Kong, with all the Gamma Beasts like hailing him.
That was pretty sick.
That was just a cool way to end it.
The Hawkeye, Shang-Chi, and the Old West one is really
fucking
cool.
Loved that one.
That would be a great
Super
movie.
dope.
Also, I don't know how they get these voice actors to do this. Like Josh Brolin is in this. Oscar Isaac comes back to reprise his voice role. Like, how do they convince these guys to do voice?
I bet literally they're just like, hey, come in for 2 hours and you're done.
And here's $30,000.
Yeah.
But I do think this had maybe the second worst, possibly worst episode of the whole series, and that's the Darcy Howard the Duck one. That's where I'm like, all right, this show needs to end because we're clearly like out of ideas. Another thing that sucks, and this is the last thing I'll say, that scene, it's just like a bunch of quick cut scenes of like alt universe versions of Marvel characters. Every single one of those guys I'm way more interested in than like half the stuff we got this season. Like Samurai Ghost Rider is fucking sick. I want to see that What If.
Yeah. The Howard the Duck one, like, yes, what the fuck? Were there some parts that made me laugh? Yeah, sure. There was some visual parts that were cool, but like at the same time, what the fuck? The Riri Williams one was fine, I guess.
Yeah, that was definitely the darkest one.
Yeah.
They always have one that's like really, really dark.
It just, I don't know. It wasn't as, it was fine. The season as a whole, again, it's probably my second favorite as well. Obviously, the first one's the best. And I agree, this is kind of a cheat on What If, because you have these individual episodic stories, but then they obviously pull from those in the end to tie everything together. So it isn't really a what if, it's more of a, I mean, I guess it is what if.
Yeah, but season 1 was truly what if, though. It was like, it took something that was canon in the MCU and it said, what if this event played out differently?
Right.
What's the ripple effect, or what's the alternate universe? This is like, when you say what if Shang-Chi and Hawkeye existed in the Old West, that's a cool story to me, but that's not an alternate version of anything we've already seen. And I don't know if that's supposed to be the point of it, but that's how I interpreted season 1. And I think I'd have to go back and look at it, but I think every episode in season 1 is that. It's a different iteration of something we've already seen, which is cool to see like how would things have played out if this happened instead.
Yeah, I echo everything you just said.
Like even Marvel Zombies, right? That's Hank Pym. He goes to get quantum particles out of the quantum realm for Ghost, and
he comes back. He comes back with a virus, right?
Yeah.
Which I think that may be something, because I don't know if some of these really good ones they're holding on the shelf. Like obviously Marvel Zombies is a thing. It's coming out. I'm really excited about that. So I don't know if they have some of these other ones that were good that they're going to try and pull out and play out as another season of something.
I know the series is ending, but I think it'd be fun if like once or twice a year we just got like a what if episode.
Yeah, or even give us like a I don't know, an hour-long what if like movie.
That'd be cool. Totally down. Interesting concept. Love the voice actors, but I think 3 seasons is, good. We got our fill. We'll move on.
Oh, agree. I was getting tired of the Watcher there at the end.
Yeah, I agree. And I love Jeffrey Wright.
I do too. Fantastic narrator. Again, loved him at all of that. I just didn't like the way that it all played out.
Yeah, I agree. All right, got anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Cycly, what is in your cup?
I'll do two really quickly that I finished the seasons of, and I believe Horns, unless we already talked about it, so correct me if I didn't. I know I had one episode left, but it was Shrinking on Apple TV. Have you talked about it?
I have not. No, I was waiting for somebody else to watch it. So,
but did you finish it?
We did.
Okay, yeah, just gotta say, really, mainly the cast here, just absolutely phenomenal. Harrison Ford. I mean, we talked about it already with Shrinking, and we've talked about it with season one, but it's just so fun to see him it's just a completely unique and different role, really, at the towards the end of his career. And it just it seems like he's having, obviously his character's going through like dilemmas and stuff, but you feel like Harrison Ford himself is having fun doing this.
Oh, I think he loves this work and he loves this show.
Yeah. And I've just had a blast with it. It's the perfect Bill Lawrence show, like when we compare like Ted Lasso and Scrubs, just a show that like has so much heart, can make you cry in 1 second and be cracking up the next second. Like, I mean, no one does it better than him for that. So finish that. I don't know how detailed I want to get. There's some things they did with the plot that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but overall the show is phenomenal. And then last week finished, I talked about it the first half last week, so I won't give anything away, but I finished Squid Game 2, season 2. It's only 7 episodes because I believe season 3 is going to be like the continuation of season 2. It's like the 2 seasons will be meshed as one at the end of the year.
Brian loves that.
Yeah, of course he does. So kind of the same thing they did with that 90s show, Brian, where like basically season 2 and 3 there was just like a few months between them.
But they call them parts. It's cheating.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 has been filmed then.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was worried about.
I believe it comes out this year.
Okay, good. So yeah, we finished Shrinking. Absolutely loved it. Although once we get off pod, I'm gonna have you remind me. I don't remember the exact like end of the season, the last scene. I remember the pivotal scene with Jason Segel's character.
I think that was them on the bench.
Oh, okay. I can't remember if there was like a cliffhanger or something happens. We'll have to talk about it after this because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, there's only going to be one more season of Shrinking too. It's going to be like there's only 3 overall.
Okay, good. I think like you said, I love the characters in this because their dialogue feels very lived in and real. Although I don't think any of us are as quippy as their friend group is. I wish we were. But it definitely feels like the way people actually talk and like roast each other constantly. And Squid Game, the wife and I have 1 episode left. And season 1 I thought was ingenious. It's like kind of right down our alley as fans of Saw. Season 2, I'm just finding myself, maybe I'm just like an old curmudgeon with the show now, but I'm just very, very critical of like character decisions, like to the point where I'm like ruining it for myself. Like I'm being like everything characters do, I'm like rolling my eyes like, you fucking idiot. Nobody would do that.
Like overcritical.
Basically, yeah. Like the person that I don't want to be, where I'm like criticizing everything characters do. So maybe it's bad writing. Maybe I'm just like kind of over the conceit of the show, but I haven't finished. We have 1 episode left.
Are you still watching it in the dubbed, or did you move to the Korean?
We're still doing the dubbed, yeah.
I really wonder if that would change things for you, because it felt like it changed things for me, but
yeah, it definitely could. I think we did switch over season 1, and it wasn't like that was the impetus for me liking season 1 more. It did help with like, for sure, like the actors emoting and everything. But I think just the way season 1 ended and the way that they had set up the idea for season 2, I was already kind of coming into this like, really, come on, dude. Like the character decision at the very end of season 1, I was not.
Well, you knew Netflix was going to milk this thing for what it's worth.
I know, 100%. Which they do to their own detriment a lot of times. But it's very watchable and it's unique. And but there's just like a lot of like melodrama with characters in this that I'm like, this episode, there was an hour and 16-minute episode that we just watched. And I was like, this could have been 40 minutes easily. Like take out 2 nonsensical monologues and that's 12 minutes we have shaved off this thing right there. So, but we'll of course finish it, and we're fucking pigs and slop to it. If there's a second part coming, which you say there is, we'll watch that as well.
Twist my arm.
I at least appreciate Squid Game 2 trying to be a little more unique. I mean, I wouldn't say it's definitely not going to be as good as season 1, but I'm glad they're not like just drawing out the same thing, and they took it in a different direction in motivations and plot. I do feel like what Squid Game 1 did and Squid Game 2, I do feel like at least for me, I'm not saying character choices, but a character can be on screen for like 2 minutes, have minimal lines, and they're so you're all of a sudden so invested in them, and then like when they inevitably die, you're like gut wrenched, and you're like, I didn't even know this character.
Yeah.
And that the show has done a really good job of making you realize that like, hey, we're going to introduce you to someone, and just like the game is played, they can die at any point. So I give them credit for that too.
Yeah, two things about that. The main character, I can't remember, it's the guy from The Acolyte also. I like him a lot as an actor, but especially this season, I've been like, dude, I'm least interested in him of anybody in this show. And
yeah, we know what he's up to.
Yeah, that's not a detriment to him. That's more so like a plus to some of the ancillary characters, especially player 001 and like what's going on there.
Well, I love that we know that he's the guy in that. I think that's been a fun little twist. This time we're in on it.
Yeah, skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want Squid Game season 1 spoiled for you. But they basically took the twist at the end of season 1 and they told us what's happening with it here. So I'm expecting a different like counter twist to it. The guy in the game is actually the one running it. And then the other thing, and I realize this every episode when they cut back to this group of characters, but the group that he's like hired to track down the Squid Game Island, I always forget they're in the show. And then it'll cut to them mid-episode. I'm like, oh yeah, these guys.
Oh, these guys. What are they up to?
I fucking love these guys. Yeah. No, I love that group. They just like randomly disappear for like 50 minutes at a time, and then we see them again. They're fun. I want to go drink it with those dudes.
Yeah, drink some soju with them. Man, they drink us under the table, that's for sure.
Yeah. I can smell the fish on them from my TV screen. That's correct. All right, anything else likely?
I mean, it depends on how far we want to go. So I could save these for later too.
You could do one more.
All right, I'll do The Wire, HBO from like 2002. Long considered one of the greatest shows on television. What I didn't know about it is that it wasn't that acclaimed when it came out. Didn't really win a lot of awards. Wasn't their highest rated show. And so when I always had heard like, hey, The Wire is like an iconic and maybe one of the best shows ever, I was surprised that it didn't have that reception, right? Like I think maybe Sopranos at the time could have took that flag on HBO. Now I have watched the first season before, but it's been a very long time, so I'm rewatching this. And like this time, I remember the only reason I didn't start season 2 was just like sometimes life gets in the way, and all of a sudden you realize it's been too long, and it's just like, oh, I need to get back into that, and you never did. So I mean, I'm halfway through season 1 right now. I hope I'm not giving any spoilers. Obviously, the show at the time was well ahead in its genre. Obviously, now 23 years later, it's kind of funny to look back and look at the technology that was so cutting edge back then, like post 9/11, the Patriot Act, the FBI, all these kind of wiretaps they were doing. Now it's kind of like, I don't know if it hurts the show going back in time, watching the technology being outdated. But in terms of like rawness and authentic speech, like the gangs, the way they actually behave, that's based on real true stories, the cops dynamic, like it's a phenomenal show. And then if you don't know, the season 2, 3, and 4, 5 are some of the same cast, but they take different places in Baltimore. So like season 1 is about the drug trade, season 2 is about the port, season 3 I believe is about City Hall, season 4 is about the education system. That's so cool. It's like they're all a little different while containing the same like cast and story. So it's just like corruption overall in the city of Baltimore.
Is this one of the first things Idris Elba was in?
Yes, and he's phenomenal in this.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was in that show Luther also, but that like in his career.
This is very early. There's a lot of actors who like I feel like got their start on this. From what I read, like even Idris Elba wasn't a big name. There were like no big names attached to this when it first came on. But yeah, I'm about six episodes into season 1, and it's just like, just on character alone, it's very worth watching.
Nice. Yeah, it's sad, like 2 of the main actors in this have passed away.
Yeah.
Lance Reddick, who's from the John Wick movies, of course. And
that was a sad one.
Yeah. Well, then I just lost the guy.
The guy who played Omar died, I believe. Yeah.
Michael, why is he not on he was just on here. Yeah, he was in
Michael K. Williams, yeah.
Michael K. Williams, yeah. What was that other HBO show he was in with Riz Ahmed?
He was in Boardwalk Empire. Is that the one you're thinking about?
No, The Night Of is what I'm thinking of. Have you seen this one where the taxi cab driver gets arrested?
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Night Of is fantastic.
Yeah, it fucked me up, man. Yeah, Michael K. Williams is the guy in jail that Riz Ahmed meets.
That's right. He's in a lot of things.
Yeah, he was great. He was originally cast and filmed half the movie as the villain in Solo. And then Paul Bettany had to take over. What's the guy's name? Dryden Voss is who he... Actually, he might have passed away even when that happened. But they did half the film with him and then had to redo it with Paul Bettany. Damn. I'm going to have to check this out. I'm assuming this is on Max, which sounds like a dumb question, but HBO has good licensing with its own show.
Yeah, they have the HBO's originals selection. Yeah.
It's 2025. You have to ask the question.
Yeah, I'm committed to finishing this, and I had also watched season 1 of Sopranos a long time ago. I'm committed to, after this, watching Sopranos. Two shows that have just such revere and critical acclaim. It's just I consider myself I know they're not movies, but cinephile. I feel like I need to properly give these their due.
Yeah, I've never seen Sopranos, so people.
I haven't either. Or The Wire.
People are rolling over in their grave.
All of our listeners who are dead.
Yeah, that's a big one of our demographics.
Cillian Murphy, especially.
No, I haven't seen it. Come on now. All right, got anything else?
Nah.
I guess that'll bring us to the last part of our show. Which is our question answer segment. Do you even lift brah? And today we will continue. Are you guys cool just Banner doing one interest of time here? All right. We're going to continue the Bros list of our top 100 movies of all time. The list is linked in the description of this episode. As we count these down, though, Cycly, as always, if you could give our listeners at home, especially our new ones, just a little insight into what are these lists? Because when you hear a top 100 movie list, you're like, oh, have the Bros gotten fancy with their Shirley Blanca and their wine and curated a list of the best pieces of cinema?
Meh. Well, some of us, yes, and some of us not so much. But for the overall part, your top 100 movies are literally unique to you. When we say top 100, you can define this in any manner of which you like to. They could be movies that meant a lot to you when you were a kid, movies that you saw in a certain state of mind, movies that you genuinely think are the greatest cinematic pieces of art, movies that are so dumb that just made you laugh. It doesn't matter. It's however you feel that this movie, wherever you rank, you don't have to defend it. You don't have to. Banner is the only one who should defend it. And it's an activity I think everyone should do. It's really fun to go back down memory lane and think of all the films you've seen. And
really hard.
It's really hard, but it's a good time.
Yeah, very well said. All right, so on the list, Banner, you last did your number 33 film of all time, which was Deep Blue Sea. Check out our movie commentary on that one.
OG one back in the day.
Cycly's number 33 was Fight Club. Classic. And my number 33 was Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. So, Banner, to close us out tonight, can you give us your number 32 film of all time? It will join the likes of Pulp Fiction on Ronnie Cycly's list, number 32. And my number 32 film was John Wick. So what will be joining them at 32 on your list?
The Dark Knight.
Nice.
Guys, it's we've talked ad nauseum about this movie on this pod over the years. I don't need to say more or much about it. It's a fantastic movie. It's won awards on this fucking pod for best comic book movie. It's just a great film. 32.
So it won Comic Movie Madness, right? If I remember right.
Yeah, I believe it did.
Which is a feat in of itself because that's a 64 movie bracket that we put together.
And I think even, add the millions and millions of superhero movies that we've gotten since we did that, 6-7 years ago, I still think this would be a number 1 seed and win it all pretty handedly.
It has everything you want. That this, it's just, you can take out and not even call it a comic book movie. You can call it the greatest comic book movie. It's just like it just has its own legs. It's just
you don't need to watch Batman Begins to know what the fuck's going on here.
No.
And I think that's a huge advantage to it.
It's like this is a crime drama that happens to have a guy dressing like a bat.
And a guy in a purple suit and makeup.
Right. So
Oscar winner.
This is coming up on my list. I don't know if it's coming up on your Cycler. Have you already said this
definitely. One? No, I'm pretty sure. If I have, then that was a mistake.
Yeah. So I want to save a lot of what I'll have to say about this for when it comes up. But Cycler and I we saw this together, and it was a cool theater experience.
Saw this twice in under 24 hours.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, we worked together the next day, and we were like, dude, that movie is just fucking sitting with me. We need to go again. Like, I need to see it again. I have this itch that I can't scratch. And it's seeing The Dark Knight again.
And we took our parents the second time. Remember, we saw it at midnight. And we took our parents at like 7:00 the next day.
Yeah, I was like, I'll take whoever the fuck will go with me to see this movie. So that's case in point. If you pay to see it 2 times in a 24-hour span, there you go. So because the movie itself is like 2 hours 20 minutes, seeing it twice in 24 hours, that means like basically a quarter of our day was spent watching The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah,
it's a slow Tuesday.
Yeah, no regrets. Great pick, Banner. Just legitimizes our list, when we.
Yeah, this is one that I would almost guarantee is on every bro's list.
It has to be. It was like Toy Story last week. It's like these have to be.
Yeah, if this isn't on someone's list, we need to have a talk.
We have bigger problems.
And it's nice to hear that you actually have a good movie on your list for once, Banner.
Well, hey, every once in a while.
There are a lot of lists that go Deep Blue Sea, and then the next movie is Dark Knight. That's what Banner's all about. All right.
We start to get pretty legitimate. We start to get pretty legitimate here coming up.
I mean, I don't think you need to. Again, you don't need to defend your list. It's been legitimate.
I feel like I need to defend my list.
Yeah.
Top 30 though is like we're swimming in the deep end now. It's no joke. All right, guys. Before we let the people go for episode 235, closing words of wisdom. Cycly, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, I said it last week, and I drove 27 hours over the holiday period, and I'm about to drive another 24 hours in the next week as I drive down to Florida. People just the left lane, get the fuck out of the way. Like, for real. Like, if you're even or someone's passing you on the right side, like, you're what's problem in this country. And I want you to take that personally.
I want you to get offended.
Cycling is somebody that recently did that drive. You're gonna have some problems going through Georgia.
Sorry, it's gonna test every ounce of patience.
Yeah.
Damn it, Georgia! Come on.
Yeah.
A lot of that isn't 2-lane though, right? Like you got some options to pass here. You shouldn't have to pass them, right?
I'm hoping. Yeah, but when people hang out in the left lane, where am I passing? It's dangerous to pass on the right, man.
That's true. Man. If you're listening to this podcast while you're driving and you're in the left lane, oh fuck, I'm going 65. You know what to do.
Yeah. Turn off this podcast. We're not for you.
Yeah. Cillian Murphy. Banner, what's your advice for the people at home?
Guys, with the weather getting bad, obviously all the tragic wildfires out in California, make sure you pull over for the emergency vehicles. Okay, that's the last thing these people need to be dealing with is your dumbass, trying to get to the car wash 5 seconds faster. Okay, let's just pull over when you see the lights, hear the sirens. Let's just be nice people.
2/3 of our closing advice is get out of the left lane, basically. Get over to the right.
It's either I'm coming or an ambulance is coming. Either way,
Either way, get out of the way.
It doesn't matter which one because they're both of equal importance.
Exactly.
My closing thoughts. I mean, we're over the haircut thing. Like, I've just decided people are going to get their stupid haircuts. That's fine. I can't change those people. What I can change though is people in my or anyone else's neighborhood or apartment complex writing stupid shit in that community's social media platform. Meaning, like, whether it's a Facebook community group, Nextdoor, or the Ring app, I don't need anyone to post Did you see a coyote at 2 a.m.? Because that's literally what I get in my Ring app group. And Cycly appreciates this. Now the people who respond to these posts, i.e. myself, have started to get next level sarcastic. And the best part is the type of people that ask these dumb questions in these social media groups don't know it. They can't pick up on it. So the next time someone asks, helicopter overhead, what's that all about? Like, how the fuck would I know?
Just
and
respond.
Even if I do.
So that someone didn't get out of the left lane and an ambulance was coming.
Yeah, basically. Like, oh my God, Ronnie Cycly said.
When I was coming home today, so to get into our neighborhood, there's like one entrance, and a car was pulled over in that entrance. So it was like a pain in the ass to get around him. And as I was pulling in, I was like, somebody is going to post, hey, does anybody know why that car got pulled over?
Yeah. So do you have a Facebook group, or do you use the Ring or Nextdoor? Because we're only on the Ring. Our community doesn't have a Facebook group, unfortunately.
Oh, I don't do any of that.
Banner would be kicked out so fast if he was in one.
I don't.
He'd have to like keep making burner accounts. Oh, here's one that literally just happened as I got it. This is all the post says, with a picture of a package. My package was delivered wrong address.
That helps. That helps.
Look at this. What are we supposed to do with that?
And that's not my concern. Go to the house where the picture is, man. Don't bother me.
You should, like, if it's the wrong house, just take the package to the correct address.
Should I comment, have you called the police?
Maybe that's why the helicopter's overhead.
Yeah, that is actually, I think we need to use more resources. My God. Anyway, as much as I complain about this, please don't stop, because it brings me an immense sense of entertainment. But also do. I already can't wait for the 4th of July ones. Anyone hear fireworks? That's like 17 consecutive posts.
Gunshots? Question mark.
Yeah, those are the ones that get the best sarcastic responses. One person said like, "Yes, we're being attacked. It's over." So, all right, for our legal counsel Ronnie Cycly and the mad scientist Brian Banner, I'm the mayor Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Looking forward to an exciting year in movies in 2025. We'll be here every step of the way. We look forward to having these discussions with y'all. You can follow us on Twitter, Threads, Instagram at Broforce Squad. We're also on Letterboxd, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube. Type in Bro Force Squad as 3 separate words. And check out everything we post on our website, broforcesquad.com. It also has our top 100 list and our squad blog. Till next time, we'll see you in the Ring group after you get out of the left lane for emergency vehicles. It's one connected universe. I tied them all together.
I love it. It's better than what the DCU is trying to do.
Absolutely.
Jeff, at what point did I so fuck...